Hey guys, what's up? It's Finchinator, and today we're doing another Metagame Monday on Weather Offense in the SSOU Metagame. So, for those of you who don't know, there are four weathers: sand, rain, sun, and hail. Unfortunately, there's a bit of an uneven playing field when it comes to all of them. And there's also some standardized archetypes and some things to explore with. So we're going to go ahead and dive into all of that and more in this edition of Metagame Monday. Thank you guys for all the support recently. And also, I'm sorry if this is going a bit later in the day, especially for my European viewers than normal. I like getting these videos up at noon or 1 p.m., but today I had some things going on intermittently. I had to help out the family because during the hurricane when we lost power, unfortunately one of our tables shattered in the backyard, and we were able to get a new table. We had to construct it this afternoon, so I was busy with that. Plus, I woke up a bit late, so I couldn't do it before that in the morning, so hope you guys don't mind this. You can always watch it on Tuesday, make it a little Metagame Tuesday, but with that said, I'm really excited to bring this to you guys. So I had a bit of a poll on my server. There were four different options. One of them was weather and SSU. The other one was Rillaboom, how it's risen to prominence in the metagame. And then there were two others that we might get to. I don't want to reveal all my secrets. So if you guys, aren't in the Discord server and you want to know what I'm talking about, then maybe go ahead and join the Discord server. The link will be below in the description. We have almost 700 members, and it's a really poppin' chat. So definitely check that out. But with that said, it's been great building this community, and because of that, I love to give back and do things like these Metagame Mondays. So let's get on into weather offense in SSOU. So first and foremost, the most common weather and standardized weather is going to be sand. The ability Sandstream is only really on two Pokemon that are viable on OU. One of those is Hippowdon, which is far and away the most common of the two, and the other is Tyranitar. Hippowdon is able to surface a physical wall, checking things like Zeraora, Cinderace, may he rest in peace, Excadrill, Bisharp, etc. You've been seeing some special defensive sets with Rock Slide or something else to handle Volcarona, I suppose, which is also fun. I prefer physically defensive because it deals with Excadrill and Holucha if it's not sub, and Urshifu, Zeraora, etc. pretty well. But again, it really depends on your team and team composition. Regardless, though, Drill's great. Stealth Rock Toxic. Unfortunately, it's shut down by Skarmory and Corviknight. But on the bright side, it does do well against Mandibuzz and Excadrill, which are other prominent hazard removals. If you just run Toxic for Mandibuzz, that is anyway. So yeah, this set can be pretty good. And then as for Tyranitar, unfortunately it's limited mostly to running a Choice Band set, and without Pursuit, it's a lot less effective defensively, if that makes sense. It doesn't have the trapping utility, however, offensively it's able to flourish with this combination of moves, especially if you give it a nature, which I've been meaning to do already. Yeah, but honestly, for every 10 Hippowdon, you might see one Tyranitar. I'd say it's just hard to use Tyranitar without Pursuit. It's pretty limited in what it can do. It can't really check anything in the long haul. It lacks recovery, so yeah, it's definitely seen better days. There's a reason why it's fallen into UU, but with that said, I'm sure Tyranitar will see better days ahead, and I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, these are your two-man sand setters, and sand is just really common as not only does it deter other weather, but it forces passive damage. Hippowdon's a great Pokemon in the metagame, and also it pairs with a certain Pokemon with Sand Rush that is already a very common and effective Pokemon regardless of the ability, and that Pokemon is Excadrill, which is a primary sand abuser. So there are two drill sets I want to highlight that abuse sand. The first one is far and away the most common one. It's going to be Sand Rush Excadrill. Now you can run Swords Dance, Toxic, Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock. Pick two of those four, and then you pair it with Earthquake and Iron Head. Just give it an offensive spread, especially since you don't have to take Magearna's Flash Cannon or Flare Cannon anymore. And you're good to go. It's going to be really threatening to teams that lack Skarmory, Corviknight, or something like an Hippowdon of their own. Although it is revenge killable by things like Rillaboom, even or Crawdon, or even a Azumarill for a little chip, even in Sand. So that's definitely a limiting factor, but still, I believe that Drill Sand is quite good in this current metagame. I'm interested to see how it will pan out in the near future. Next up, we have Excadrill with Sand Force. It's a bit less of a common, a bit more of a niche set, but it's devastatingly strong with Sand Force and Swords Dance. It's able to kill things like Slowbro at +2 with Adamant, Life Orb, Earthquake, and it can even take out slightly chipped Hippowdon or Tangrowth as well, so long as you have the right moves. You could even run Adamant, although you miss out on Modest Kyurem and Adamant Urshifu and a whole slew of other things in that region, Modest Volcarona as well, so definitely be cautious with how you nature and EV this Excadrill, but can go a long way as well. I believe that both these Pokemon have a place in the metagame, but personally Sand Rush is far and away the better one. And I also want to note that Sand really isn't meant to be like offensively abused so much as passively abused for damage and abused via Sand Rush Excadrill, so take that what you will. The other archetypes are far and away more offensive and potent, so that's definitely worth noting. So yeah, let's just go ahead and look at a sample sand team that I'm going to outline below. It's going to be a team with Hippowdon and Excadrill, as I said, but also Clefable, Alakazam, Mandibuzz, and Toxapex. So The Hippowdon here, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Slack Off, Toxic, as I said before. It's Swords Dance plus Toxic Drill because we have another removal, Mandibuzz. It's also worth noting this team was made during the World Cup Pokemon. Unfortunately, we never got around to quite using this exact... I think we did, but with a different Toxic set. But yeah, the idea is you run Calm Mind plus Flamethrower Clefable, which is a really good win condition. However, it's walled by opposing Toxic, so then you run your own Toxic with Block, Scald, Spite, and Recover, and then you can block and trap them in a long haul, especially once you're able to knock it off with Mandibuzz and Scald Burn It, so I think it goes a long way. And with that gone, Toxic's gone, you're able to remove hazards more easily with Mandibuzz, set them up more easily with Hippowdon, and also sweep with Clefable. In addition to that, some things that complement Clefable really nicely are going to be Swords Dance Drill and Alakazam. This gives you 3 win conditions for a balanced team, so it's really dynamic, and even if you fall behind in the early game, you're able to come back in the late game. So yeah, this is a good sample sand. Unfortunately, it's really weak to Kyurem, as most sands are. It's really hard to cover Kyurem with sand teams. The best you can do is force it with Chip, with Stealth Rock, and Sand, but even then, it's going to be really hard, especially with specially defensive Clefable dying out. And there aren't really any steel types to handle it. Excadrill is going to be your primary steel type, and it's taking Ice Beam or Freeze Dry repeatedly. In addition to that, Corviknight, which is a primary defogger in the metagame right now, or Ferrothorn, which is a great spike setter in the metagame right now, both of which have a chance to fit on sand teams, both take neutralized damage from ice moves as opposed to resistant damage. So, seeing especially as Cinderace isn't in the tier, and it's not like there to sponge a single ice attack at any point in time, it's really hard to justify using sand if you're expecting Kyurem, so you got to be careful with how you do that. So definitely proceed, I guess, with caution, if you will. Yeah, anyway, next up we have, I think the next weather I listed was, hold on, let me pause for a second. My bad, we are back now, and the next weather is going to be rain. It's actually one of the channel's favorite weathers. We've seen it quite a few times, and it seems like you guys really enjoy me using it. So there are 2 primary Pelipper sets, and it's worth noting, Pelipper is always worth using over Politoed. But anyway, the first of that, sorry, my phone thought it was talking to it. Sorry, Siri, I'm not talking to you. But anyway, we got Damp Rock Pelipper. I ripped this one actually straight from a prior team, but basically you run Hurricane over Scald nowadays because you really want to hit a select handful of Pokemon. And then on top of that, Roost and Defog are really important. You can run Scald over Hurricane. It's just not being able to touch things like Ferrothorn and Rillaboom and Toxfix isn't great. And I mean, if you go down the list, there are a couple other things as well. Como-O, Tangrowth, etc. So it's just really nice having Hurricane. Oh yeah, it also gives you a check to Hawlucha because rain teams just lose to Hawlucha otherwise. So yeah, all things considered, that's great. And then there's also Specs Pelipper, which works on more like hyper offensive rain. So this is the set there. It does a massive amount of damage. If you get a knockoff on Chansey or Blissey or just a little chip, it can actually 2-kill them, and Toxic getting 2-kill, but your Hurricane taking like 60%. It's devastatingly strong off of a base 95 special attack. All these boosted attacks, and they're boosted not only by stab but also by rain and then twin specs. So it's like hella boosted. They're just mad strong. And Weather Ball is great, although be careful weather balling if they have an ability to change the weather or if they've got a Como-O. So definitely proceed with caution. But yeah, Pelipper is the primary rain setter in this metagame. And on top of that, there are a bunch of rain abusers. The first one that I want to highlight is actually Urshifu Rapid Strike. Which, in my opinion, the main reason that you would use it would be on a team like this right now. Surging Strikes, Close Combat, U-Turn, Aqua Jet. It's a really solid Pokemon in the metagame on rain, and really only on rain. Fortunately, it's still going to be struggling with Toxics, but it's just so strong in a non-toxic matchups, and you could abuse that with other things like Crawdaunt and Seismitoad and Kingdra. So let's get into those other things now. Kingdra with Choice Specs is approaching staple status. It is Flip Turn, which is really great. So if you see something like a Ferrothorn or a Blissey, you could get out of there and do a little chip to it. But then outside of that, it's just so devastatingly strong against offensive teams with Hydro Pump, Draco Meteor, and Surf, which is really great. On top of that, Crawdaunt is a great breaker if the nature ever loads. Oh my goodness. I gave these guys both adamant natures. Come on now. Oh, watch this one be missing too. Huh? Yeah, oh my god, all the natures didn't load. Anyway, that's happening a lot too lightly. So Crawdaunt is the next Pokemon that I would highlight here. Crawdaunt's great on rain. Aqua Jet being boosted makes it ridiculously strong for a priority move. And Crabhammer's nuke to plus 2 killing virtually everything in rain with Life Orb and adaptability and adamant. So yeah, especially at 120. You hear all these things I've got to list, all these modifiers, all these boosting. It's just so strong, guys. It's really odd. Beldrum Zoomer is a good cleaner. It gets that ability to kill like the resistances that are quicker like Hydreigon and Dragapult with Rain boost, especially with Stealth Rocks being up because Rain tends to run Rocks Ferrothorn. So yeah, Next up, we have Barraskewda, which, as opposed to these guys being more slower breakers with priority, it's just Barraskewda is like a fast, like stealth in and out killer, if you will, great revenge killer on rain teams. Just super strong to the point you can run Adamant easily. I mean, 371 is its speed with Adamant, and it is Swift Swim, so imagine doubling that, and you're at over 700 speed. It's like, oh my god, it's not even a Scar for +1, no. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's mad strong. And last but not least, we also have Seismitoad, which hits them hard in rain as well. Seismitoad being used offensively is a cool little thing that a lot of people didn't expect earlier this generation, but it's very plausible, and it's great for non-Grass Knot Zeraora and Rotom Heat, because those things are actually pretty challenging to switch into in rain teams otherwise. So yeah, definitely worth noting there as well. Anyway, we're going to go through a sample rating team. This is actually a team that's been used quite a bit in the ladder. My boy John W., which, by the way, he just hit 1,000 subscribers, guys. Big round of applause for John W., yay. But his channel is great, and he used this live the other day. I actually beat him, and I didn't even know it was him initially. But John W. is a really great player, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he develops in Smogon tournaments. But that aside, definitely check out his channel. And the team, I don't know if he made it or someone else made it. I've seen it a couple times in the ladder, but basically, this is a Specs Charm Rain team. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. My import might be different. I kind of stole it. So, yeah, but it's solid. Damprock, Pelipper, Witch Teleport, Clefable, Specs Charm, Bander, Shifu, Specs Kingdra, and Ferrothorn for hazards. So, yeah, it's a pretty solid Rain team. I haven't used it in one game yet. And I think there's some weaknesses to it, like Toxic Spikes, and honestly, stall teams in general, if they have Toxic Spikes, that makes me kind of not want to use it. But with that said, it's still definitely very good. It has some high highs, even if it has some low lows. So that is Rain in SSOU. This is actually going to be a bit of a quicker Metagame Monday, just because there's not really a lot to talk about with the weathers. It's all pretty much proven. There's like a science to each weather at this point, I'd say. So yeah, and I'm not exactly like trying to reinvent the wheel here, but I do want to introduce it to you guys. I want to give you guys a platform to where you know what these weathers do, what these teams do, and then we could go from there. Actually, I'm going to pause for 1 second just so I could look at something up on the sun. Alright, my bad, we're back, but yeah. So anyway, there's a sun team I forgot to add, so I just imported it really quickly. But yeah, so let's transition from rain to sun. As I said, guys, I definitely want you guys to get the gist of each weather, so I want to include a sample team for each anyway. Sunsetter, the really only one that you could use is Torkoal, and unless you're using some like pseudo trick room team, odds are it's going to be something like this. Stealth Rock and Rapid Spin being both on it is actually really practical. Lava Plume's great for getting burns and doing some nice sun boosted damage. I like Rest in last slot to increase longevity, get the Sunsetter and more and more and more. It also helps if it's a longer game, but at the same time, you can also use something like, say, Toxic or Yawn in that last slot too. So definitely plan wisely. Make sure it fits your team. Anyway, so the primary sun abusers, on the other hand, are going to be really only like the big four, but the Shiftry is kind of fun as well. Venusaur is like the big one. Venusaur is a staple on every single sun team. It uses Growth, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, and Weather Ball, though we've seen Solar Beam and Earth Power as well, so definitely can mix and match with those. I assume Sleep Powder might have some viability too, but basically Growth gives you +2 in both physical and special attack, and the special attack boost makes it devastatingly strong, especially with this coverage. If you Growth up, you could even heal up on things like Chansey or Blissey and 1v1 them ultimately, which is really cool. So yeah, and it's just a complete wrecking ball, so if you use it well, it's great. Specs Charizard is the next option on these teams. Specs Charizard is really great in the metagame right now. It's super strong. I mean, 2-Q's Chansey, 2-Q's Blissey, 2-Q's Toxic. With a resistant hit, it one-shots Hydreigon and Dragon. Like, in Sun, with Solar Power, and Choice Specs, and Stab, it's I mean, look, watch my lives with Sun. I've used it twice now. Charizard is just a nuke. There's nothing that checks it. Focus Plus for Tyranitar, and you run 3 fire moves. Overeat for nuking. You get the kill on Hydreigon and Dragapult and 1 Weather Ball for just spam ability with accuracy. And Flamethrower / Fire Blast can be used in the last slot, just, for some reliable stab, regardless of weather. That isn't going to drop your special attack a ton. So yeah, it's just a great nuke. It's really underrated in my eyes. Definitely try out Charizard Sun for sure. Next up, we have Darmanitan. Scarf Darmanitan to really nice Sun abuser. It's fast and it hits super strong with Flare Blitz and Sun. So definitely try that out. Next up is something we saw surfaced in World Cup a bit. Life Orb Vulcan Sun. At +1, it can do things like 2-hit heal, Chansey with a little chip, and it's just mad strong. Last slot can be Roost or Bug Buzz. You can run Boots on it, but then it's going to be a bit harder to break through. The main idea is running Life Orb and then pairing it with Zatu to prevent rocks from ever coming up. So yeah, but it's ridiculous. Definitely try that out. It's mad strong. And last but not least, we also have Shiftry, which kind of a novelty pick. I've seen Storm Zone use it, though I definitely want to include it. Growth, Solar Blade, Knockoff, Heat Wave. You can run other moves as well. You can run Solar Beam as full special set with Dark Pulse, etc. Definitely try it out, though, for sure. So, yeah, there are some really potent Sun Abusers in the metagame right now. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on those. And I'm also curious, what is your favorite weather, guys, and why? Which type you like using the most? So definitely let me know about that. But moving forward from that, we also have Hail. Before we get into Hail, I just want to say Hail is really limited and underexplored in the current metagame. Definitely try it out if you guys are interested. And I want you guys to submit your best or your most enjoyable Hail team. And if I like one of the teams that's submitted in the comments below and we get enough, then I might try using one on in a low ladder for next cycle of OLT if I don't qualify for this time. So yeah, try to build Hail teams and submit your Hail teams in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. So I guess my comment questions are, which is your favorite weather? And can you submit a Hail team that might be OU viable and you want to try out? Definitely let me know. I'm really curious to see how that comes out. I don't personally have a Hail team I like, so it's tough, but I'm really curious to see what you guys have up your sleeves. Definitely let me know. But anyway, there's really one viable Hail setter, Ninetales-Alola. It's used on Orville teams, but I guess you want to use like a full Hail. Vanillix is the way to go. I think it's really strong. We used it in that one live a while back, but it was really hit or miss. But anyway, so yeah, Ninetales-Alola. It's mainly used for setting up Orville and Hail. It can go a long way. It has utility options like Hypnosis, Encore, and moves like Freeze Ray, which are pretty good against non-Steel types and non-Fire types as well. So that goes a long way. And Vanillix with Blizzard plus Freeze Dry is just sitting like a nuke. And has Orville and Taunt as well to help it be a supportive option. But Hail is still super limited, and them being weak to Stealth Rock is kind of unfortunate. But it can get by. It definitely can get by, so it's worth trying out as well. Yeah. Anyway, so then we have some Hail abusers. Those are going to be Sand/Alola, which is the only really Slush Rush Pokemon out there, and then Choice Spec Serum with Blizzard, because that is just complete nuke status. But yeah, Sand/Alola with Slush Rush, just like the other Rain Swift Swimmers or Sun Chlorophyllers or even Sand Rushers, is able to abuse its weather being up for double speed, and that can go a long way in the context of a game. Of course, it's Sand/Alola, so fire moves and fighting moves that can be devastating, and it doesn't have the best special bulk either, but it still can hit pretty hard, especially with access to Triple Axle and complementary coverage such as Earthquake. That goes a long way. I definitely advise trying this out, though. It definitely is really cool. And of course, you guys know how strong Spec Serum is. And now, if you replace Ice Beam with Blizzard, then it's like, holy crap, it's even stronger. So, yeah, definitely give that a go yourselves as well. Anyway, I'm sorry that this is a bit more of a brief or shorter Metagame Monday. I have 4 different ideas, so the next 4 Metagame Mondays are already like sort of semi-planned out, and I'm really excited for all of them. This is probably the briefest one of them, though, just because weather is kind of like solved in a sense. Like there isn't really a ton to the big 3 weathers anymore, and sand teams also you can't really abuse them a ton. But this was not like my favorite idea for Metagame Monday. It's definitely something I want to get out there though, because it's informational. A lot of people want to try weather teams and these Pokemon to make them work in the context of these teams. So I'm glad that I'm getting it out there, but I'm sorry that it's not more long or analytical like the other Metagame Mondays. Definitely let me know your thoughts on weather though, and let me know your favorite Hail teams or Hail structures that you'd like to see me potentially use in the future if one sits well with me. So yeah, we'll definitely get to that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for the subscriptions. Recently, we've hit 4.8K. I'd love to hit 5,000 sometime later this month, so let's make the push. Anyway, have a great day. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and comment. And I said comment. I don't know why I said comment. All right, whatever. Oh boy. Well, happy Monday, guys. Have a great day. All right. Peace out.